After bathing, the devotees returned to the monastery. They washed their feet and entered the worship room. Saluting the deity, they offered flowers. Narendra was a little late in coming to the worship room. He found that there was no flower on the tray. There were only a few bay leaves. He sprinkled the leaves with sandal paste and offered them to Sri Ramakrishna. He rang the bell, saluted the deity again, and joined the other brothers in the big hall, which was known as the room of the Danas. The members of the mott called themselves the Danas and the Daityas, which mean the ghosts and the demons, the companions of Shiva. They took these names because of their utter indifference to worldly pleasures and relationships. The southernmost room of the second floor was used for meditation, contemplation, and study, and was known as Kali Tapasvi's room, since Kali used to shut himself in there most of the day. North of this room was the worship room, and north of that again was the room where the offerings for the worship were prepared. From this room, the devotees used to watch the evening worship. North of the offering room was the room of the Danas, a very long hall where the members of the mott used to assemble. Here, the householder devotees and visitors were received. North of this hall was a small room where the devotees took their meals. East of the worship room and of Kali Tapasvi's room ran a long veranda, at the southwest corner of which was the library of a society of Poranagar. Between Kali Tapasvi's room and this library was a staircase, and north of the dining room was another staircase leading to the roof. Narendra and the other members of the mott often spent their evenings on this roof. There, they devoted a great deal of time to discussion of the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna, Shankaracharya, Ramanuja, and Jesus Christ, and of Hindu philosophy, European philosophy, the Vedas, the Puranas, and the Tantras. Narendra, who had a beautiful voice, used to sing in the room of the Danas and teach music to Sharad and a few others. Kali used to take lessons on the instruments. Many happy hours they spent together in that hall, dancing and singing. Narendra was sitting with the devotees in the room of the Danas. The conversation turned to religious preaching. M. To Narendra. Vidyasagar says that he does not speak about God to anyone for the fear of being caned. Narendra. For the fear of being caned? What does he mean? M. This is what Vidyasagar says. Suppose that after death we all go to God. The emissaries of death will have sent Keshav Sen there too, Keshav Sen, no doubt, committed sins while he lived on earth. When that is proved, perhaps God will say, give him 25 stripes. Then suppose I am taken to God. I used to go to Keshav Sen's Brahmo Samaj in my earthly life. I too have committed many sins. So I too am ordered to be caned. Then suppose I say to God that I acted in that sinful way because I listened to Keshav's preaching. Thereupon God will ask his emissaries to bring Keshav back. When he is brought, the Almighty God will say to him, did you really preach that way? You yourself knew nothing about spiritual matters, and yet you had the hardihood to teach others about God. Emissaries, give him 25 stripes more. Everybody laughed. M. Therefore, Vidyasagar says, I cannot take care of my own self. Should I be foolish enough to get an additional caning for misleading others? I myself do not understand God. How shall I lecture to others about him? Narendra, how has he who could not understand God understood other things? M. What other things? Narendra, he says that he has not understood God. But how then can he understand charity and doing good to others? How can he understand about the school? How can he understand about educating boys by establishing schools? How can he understand that it is right to enter the world, marry, and beget children? He who rightly understands one thing understands everything else. M. To himself. Yes, Sri Ramakrishna too said that he who knows God knows everything else. Further, he said to Vidyasagar that leading a worldly life, establishing schools, and so on are the outcome of rajas. The master also said that Vidyasagar's philanthropy was due to the influence of sattva on rajas. Such rajas is not harmful.